splendor, securing themselves game 1. Will they win game 2 and have a spot in the semifinals? Sweet J, let's find out.
Yeah, let's find out. Can ForTheDream come back with this draft here? Their L'Oreal's going to have to carry, though. The only way they can win this is L'Oreal needs to carry really hard against this composition. So Shirko is going to have a lot of weight on his shoulders. Because you think about the damage potential is going to come from him late game. Lu Bu and Ryoma, not that bursty in the late game, but definitely really strong in the early and mid phase of the game. So they need to win early game and just snowball the heck out of this Lindis. Shut the Lindis down. But you have the Alice that can help when Lu Bu and Ryoma dive. You know, Alice is going to just ultimate right on top of them, and then Lindis can get away to safety.
And so now we're going to get to see the rise of Alice, a hero that we have thoroughly enjoyed as she has graced her presence on the battlefield that much longer, creating a little innocent pleasure. I'm not gonna lie though, a little girl running at you with some horns and a giant staff would probably be pretty terrifying as I'm sitting on the battlefield myself.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the rotation here from Royal though. They're getting ready for the Dragon side. They're asserting a little dominance here. It's about 20-something seconds. And they're looking to make a play with Lindis. Lindis has 2 buffs here. This is huge play. Once you have 2 buffs, you want to abuse it and push. And try to get extra farm and win the bird, and the bird goes over to the side of Hakai.
Seagull is secured there by Royal. It's going to be able to create a little bit of division. They're going to see Arena of Violet again. Arena of Violet on that teamy. So kind of transitioning the statements. I'd love to be able to have a conversation with ForTheDream and actually see if there's a consistent strategy that they're going to be having moving forward. Because we've seen Arena of Violet's success on the AD carries, but with Violet being banned off the table almost every game, could be a potential change or roster swap that they're trying to prioritize.
Yeah, they gotta win this early game. ForTheDream's got to prioritize her. You have Teamy, you have Ryoma. Right now, you're not invading, you're losing both birds, and as a result, they're getting level 4 before you. Coco got level 4. You see on the bottom lane there, level 4 already on Omen. This is where Royal can now push it. They can now push for Dragon because they have the level advantage. They have the ultimate advantage. And let's see what they're going to do.
Rez is over here trying to get himself a little bit of poke. Knows the team. There's going to have the rotation. Chognar's on the top side. Grizzly Q can't help out anyone. So if there's a situation for a fight, it will be a scuffle in favor of Royal via numbers. But ForTheDream is just going to back off. They don't want to deal with this. That's going to be the Dragon. Talk to me a little bit about this this Chognar pick and how this is. This is the weak link, I feel, for the side of ForTheDream.
Yeah, they picked Chognar primarily just to counter the Alice. However, it's just they have to kind of get in there, and basically when Alice ults, Chognar is there to counter it. But look at this, look at the focus, and Arena Violet again getting caught out, focus down, and just Chognar offers more utility. He doesn't have as much damage sustain, but you want something super bursty, like someone that can go in there and dish out a ton of damage. Ryoma and Lu Bu are more sustained fighters, and Omen wants to sustain. Zenio offers protection. You need someone to hard carry, like a Kirknack, or some jungler that can, like a Kilgroth, for example, that can just do so much damage the way you build him, and just delete carries immediately once you have the Chaos protection to counter the Alice ultimate. But right now, it's just, they're going to have a really hard time getting on Lindis here. Lee D. Kappa is going to have the game of his life, staying from the back and just doing damage.
Grizzly Q on the top side, trying to combat with this Omen on the top. Coco obviously trying to see if he can get himself a nice little roam as well. Lee D. Kappa on the Ignis, or sorry, on the Lindis, not the Ignis. That's a female, not a man. They both have pretty hats, but it's going to be Relax, actually, that's going to find himself caught. He's going to try to get himself a little stunned, but he's going to get himself a little flip, but that flip is going to turn into the ground.
The positioning of Relax and Arena of Violet, they're just really out of position lately, too aggressively overextending, getting caught out, and as a result, they're just feeding the enemy team. Look at the Kilgroth. He is level 6, but, you know, Coco's going to turn level 7, right? And he's going to be able to win this fight here against the Kilgroth because of the damage reduction that Omen has.
One more.
And he has to back off. So, because Omen, you can't really fight against him 1v1 because every time he stacks on you 3 times, he gets that passive true damage perk that he has. So, Chognar definitely has to back up at that point.
What do you feel the reasoning was for sticking Grizzly Q on that Chognar in the side lane, despite the fact that they already knew that they had the side laners of Hakai as well as, of Zenio and Omen on the side lane?
They're just trying to counter the Alice. They should have just picked an ADC because Chognar was just a more of a reactive pick to counter Alice, because Chognar is such a good counter to Alice. But as a result, they kind of mess up their draft. It's not balanced. You know, they don't have the range. They're outranged by the Lindis. They do have L'Oreal in the late game, but Tulin is just as good as L'Oreal as long as they're kind of even in items. And I feel like it was just a very reactive pick that's not going to work in their favor.
Not only were they reactive in their picks in the draft phase, but they've also been reactive since they loaded themselves onto the battlefield thus far. We're at 6 minutes. They find themselves down 2 kills, 2 Abyssal Dragons, as well as 2,000 gold. Not being in the most advantageous positions. ForTheDream, we've seen what teams do when they can be aggressive. We've seen what teams do when they can be ahead. But the struggle that they're facing right now is every move that they're making, Royal is 2 or 3 steps in front.
Yeah, exactly. Royal just doing a good job with this dominance in the early game here. They're just pressuring and doing such a good job onto ForTheDream and winning all these objectives, getting the dragon, posturing, taking map control, and now they're going to get a top tower. However, Omen comes just in time to save it. And look at this rotation by the side of Royal. They're going to get the kill on Rez right there.
Buddy, Lu Bu is going to be Lu No. He's going to go straight to the grave as the tower on the bot side. First tower of the game was going to go over into Royal's hands. That's the bot tier 1. Now they're going to get themselves a nice little rotation onto the Sage buff. And Royal, despite the difficulties coming from the open qualifier, they found themselves relegated in week number 2, have now found themselves in a very solid lead against the number 2 seed of Europe here ForTheDream.
Yeah, and this is huge for Royal here. This is going to really put them back. I mean, they came from the qualifiers, placing, you know, getting the first place in the open qualifiers, coming back like this is going to be huge momentum for them. And this is a team that I said to watch out for. So as a dark horse, they're really coming back here. And ForTheDream, although they're looking pretty nice on top of the leaderboard with their stats, they've tried a lot of innovative team comps. And I wish they kind of get back to what's meta, what's working. You know, playing Wisp when Wisp isn't very strong as ADC, and now putting Arena of Violet on a non-ADC champion and the support is very interesting. I mean, I think they're having fun and they're enjoying themselves, and let's see if they can turn this into a win. Oh, and the Abyssal Dragon is going to be taken by the Lindis here, and that's going to be a huge play by Royal, putting them in a 4K lead now.
Another victory, another objective goes into their hands. Hakai is going to be able to use that ultimate to help join the fray as we are at 8 minutes in the game. Unbelievable effort by Royal. We were expecting a fight. We were expecting them to throw up their fisticuffs in the most Royal fashions against ForTheDream, but they have come out swinging, and they are throwing nothing but haymakers their way.
Yeah, you know what, though? I believe in Arena of Violet. I believe in his teaming. He learned it from game 1. Now he's going to make some crazy plays in his teaming and be able to turn this game around with the Pooty Poots in the bush there, and it's going to hit the bush.
Hit the bush. Hit the player. Not going to work in their favor, as now 3 members are on the top side of the map. You can see Simjo on that Tulin coming up. Simjo, you know, hilariously enough, we've talked so much about all the other members of Royal, but Simjo on Tulin, this is one of his marquee heroes. We haven't even had a chance to cover that because so many things that Royal are doing are well. It gives them an opportunity to create the sleight of hand action. Look at what we're doing with the Coco. Look at what we're doing with the Hakai. Meanwhile, Simjo gets on his best hero.
Yeah. Arena of Violet there used Pooty Poots 3 times in the bush. I think he's trying to tell us something. He is so comfortable using that ability. However, the key is like they have to chain these abilities and these stuns. And Chognar uses character to get out, but he's not going to make it. Is he going to survive? No, he's not. And look at Simjo just going crazy on this Tulin.
4-0 Simjo finding himself 4 out of 4 kill participation. It has been the day of Tulins here in the Valor Series Europe. Every Tulin player has been playing to a T. A capital T for Tulin. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Simjo. I won't give myself that one. I won't give myself credit for that one.
Yeah, and look at Hakai. He's playing really well on Zeno. He's won his lane. I mean, Coco and Hakai have been doing such a good job in their side lane here. And look at that. They're going to hand over the Abyssal Dragon.
Number 4. 4 Abyssal Dragons in 10 minutes for Royal. Now, despite the fact of the lead that they're creating, 5,500 gold, Royal hasn't taken too many objectives. Only 2 towers. It isn't as fast as what we're seeing, but that might change very quickly as Onslaught has been created for Simjo and the rest of the Royal squad. He's going to end up using that Endure Great job to be able to start himself up. Shurko, no!
Oh, no, you can't.
Gonna be forced to blink away. Doesn't want to be anywhere near Ganja and that Alice. The Alice, the pocket pick that has been coming out for many teams in both Europe and North America is definitely proving into the favor of Team Royal.
Yeah, but you can see why ADC is just so good against the L'Oreal. L'Oreal wants to fight under her smite, but you have an ADC that can auto-attack you from a safe distance and range like that. L'Oreal has to back off. And that's why an ADC composition is the way to counter a L'Oreal pick instead of picking an assassin into her. So right now, Kappa is playing really well on this Lindis.
Royal up again, 5,000 gold. The power of Simjo has been created, but you can't knock off the assist that Kappa has been able to create as well. He's got himself 0-0 and 4. The stat lines of Royal looking beautiful. Goose eggs in the only category that individuals like, and that's that kill counter, as ForTheDream hasn't been able to net themselves a kill just yet. Unfortunately, not able to master Lucid Dreaming as they are not in control right now. Down 5 kills and a plethora of gold.
Yeah, I mean, look at Hakai. He's winning his lane so hard. You know, he's almost got that tier 2 tower down to almost dead. And look at it. He just knows when to back off too. He knows not to overextend. You know, he's winning his lane matchup so well against a Lubu, and Lubu is kind of a skill matchup there. And on it, and his Zenio play has just been perfect, using it to counter Max in the last game, and now pushing side lane so heavily here.
The greatest fact of Hakai's Zenio play thus far is we've seen a lot of Zenials fail in using their ultimate too reactively, and by the time they show up in the fights, their carries are dead. Hakai is using these a second to 2 seconds earlier, right as the fight is beginning. He's predicting it correctly and being just enough of a shield for his team, as now Royal is pushing onto the bottom side of the base. Speaking of Hakai, he's on the back line, 10% HP left remaining onto Rez. The bottom high ground turret is going to go down, destroyed. Super Minions will be following suit shortly, as now the focus is onto the mid lane. That is a tier 2 mid lane turret, and the high ground turret is next.
Yeah, and that's the key for Zenio there. And look at this damage here. Are they going to get this tower? Yes, they do. Lindis is focused on a tower. That's exactly what you want to do. And Hakai again coming down just in the nick of time to reduce that damage. And Shurko gets caught in Death's Embrace. He has to use the Endure, but does not last long enough, and he gets locked down immediately.
35 seconds on his death timer, and with the minions are there and available. Actually, no, they don't have a minion wave. It's going to be coming up. Yeah, it's coming up on the way. There are 4 members left alive, 25 seconds, but I don't think it's going to matter, Sweet J.
Yeah, exactly. And Hakai, just using his Angelic Splendor so early, it gives 3 seconds of 40% damage reduction when he's channeling it. So his ability and his timing on these Angelic Splendor ultimates have just been on point, and this is going to be the game for Royal here. They have a super minion coming up from the bottom wave, and they can finish the game right here.
They're going to be able to finish the game. Indeed, 2 seconds left remaining on Shurko. It could be a last stand. Hakai's going to preemptively use Angelic Splendor to be able to help out, get the damage reduction. Core is going to explode. Royal is going to roll on ForTheDream. Royal continued to roll right through and over ForTheDream, turning their dreams into nightmares and sending them down to the relegation bracket for the first time ever. A number 2 seed has fallen.
That's the first time, you're right.
For the first time ever, a number 2 seed has fallen, and Royal has definitely redeemed themselves every week. If you couldn't have picked a greater story of rise. You literally started from the bottom. We're not to quote Drake or anything, but started to the bottom of the relegation, had to fight through open qualifiers. Boom, they're back, and what do? They take down the number 2 seed.
Yeah, and exactly, like I said, they played with Coco. You know, Coco won the side lane. Hakai just dominated his side lane as well. And as a result, they're able to get Simjo fed, and Ganja with his follow-up, his lumber ultimates. I mean, they played so well as a team, and they definitely paid off for them. So keep it up, Royal. You guys can take this very, very far.
And just like that, not only does Royal win, but Royal nixes the perfect win rate that Sweet J could potentially have, putting him at 75% for the day.
I'm normally pretty good in EU, too. My predictions in the EU are pretty solid.
Too bad.
Arena
so
Violet, I love you, though.
But we got to crowd ourselves an MVP, and you have to give it to Zenial the Immaculate, a.k.a. Hakai the Immaculate today. It was an unbelievable matchup. He had himself some very difficult side lane matchups. The skill matchup against the Lubu, game 1 up against, I believe it was the Omen, and every opportunity that he had was helping his team.
Yeah, and not only that, he won side lane so hard. He pushed down to tier 1 tower, then tier 2 tower. Winning the dragon side of the map, it's critical.
Triple kill in game number 1.
Yeah.
In the first 5 minutes, he had 3 kills. If your tank gets ahead that far, there's nothing you can do considering the damage and the power and the utility that Hekabaya brings to the team. Royal, they're looking at themselves in a pretty good spot, but who are they going to face? All of the quarterfinals have thus then been decided for Europe. ForTheDream goes down, Royal rolls, and they're going to find themselves going up against Vitality, a rematch of week number 2, I believe
and Vitality
it was.
destroyed them.
They do. It is going to be a grudge match, revenge, Team Noob versus Nova. Saturday is going to be pretty spicy, don't you think?
Yeah, I can't wait till Saturday comes. Nova against Team Noob again.